Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bell. But let's go ahead and get into this. Alright, so I've seen some reports that have come out lately about Daniel Jones. And again, I will always preface this with I'm a Daniel Jones fan as a person. I'm a Daniel Jones fan even as a player. I mean, I want nothing but the best for Daniel Jones. I hope he can recover well. I hope that he can get to playing very high level football. Um, but I just don't think it's going to happen on the Giants. I don't think it's going to happen on the Giants. I think he probably needs a change of scenery. I think he probably needs more talent around him, consistent talent around him. And I just don't think right now it makes sense to hitch our wagons to Daniel Jones, who he's been here for 5 years. Let's go over some stats, some high level stats for him. He started 60 games. He is 22, 36, and 1. So well under 500. He'd have to have multiple really good seasons just to get a couple of games over 500. Um, he is he has 12,512 yards through 5 years. He's missed some games, so that puts him, even if he'd have played the entire seasons, that puts him at around less than 3,000 yards per season. Um, 24 touchdowns as a rookie, 11 touchdowns in 2020. The next year, 10, then 15, and then 2 this year in 6 games. 62 touchdowns through 5 years. You divide that, let's do some quick maths. You divide 5 years and averaging six, and it has 62 touchdowns. You're basically looking at about just a little over 12 touchdowns a year. Um, 40 interceptions, not bad. Really good with the interceptions. Actually, never really had an interception issue. Only had 12 interceptions his rookie year. Um, and then you look at his yards per game, which is telling, 208 yards. My biggest issue with Daniel Jones started out as the pocket presence. He's gotten a little bit better with that. Um, it's just he's not aggressive enough. He's not aggressive enough, and it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Um, I still believe that Joe Judge came in here and ruined the good things about Daniel Jones. And I just don't see it coming back because it's been years and he has not been able to bring that level of aggressiveness back. His big time throw percentage is around 2%, like 2.5%. Tyrod Taylor led the league and like with like 8%, and you probably want your quarterback around 6%, somewhere around that 6 or 7%. You love that, even 5%. But Daniel Jones is at like 2.5% as far as big time throws, where he's throwing down the field, he's making big plays, and he just doesn't do it. His big plays last year came from running the football, and then that kind of opened things up. And against the Vikings, especially, he looked like Superman. He looked like a Hall of Famer. I'm thinking like, yeah, we need to pay this dude now. Like if he's gonna play like this, we got to pay him whatever. I wasn't saying whatever he wants, but we needed to pay him, in my opinion. But it just looks like that was just against a bad defense. It looks like that was just against a bad defense because starting off this year, he comes out against Dallas. He comes out against the Cardinals and the 49ers and a bunch of these teams, and he doesn't get good pass protection, yes, but he left a lot of meat on the bone. Left a lot of meat on the bone. Was not able to make plays even when he had protection. And a guy getting paid $40 million a year, he's got to elevate the team. He's got to elevate the team. And through 5 years, he has not elevated the team consistently. Through more than about 2 or 3 games in a row, he has not elevated the football team. So again, Joe Schoen said in his press conference that he's going to build around Daniel Jones, which makes sense. Why would he announce that I'm going out to go get a rookie quarterback? It makes no sense at all. But he came out and said that. and I'm not putting any sort of credence to that because again, there's no reason to give up your hand. But if the reports that are coming out are true, why would you sit there and look at this guy's career so far through 5 years, where he just hasn't been able to make those big time plays consistently, and say in year six, Daniel Jones is going to throw for 35 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. In year six, this is going to happen. Like, when do we stop waiting for Daniel Jones to break out just because we're in a bad situation as far as talent goes? Like, we should see it. We should see it. You can clearly tell when a quarterback has a bad team and he's great, but the team isn't good. And it just looks like when Daniel Jones is struggling that the team is bad and the quarterback is bad. And then when Tyrod Taylor comes in, oh, we have a deep threat. We have Jalen Hyatt. Oh, we have Darius Slayton. Oh, Tommy DeVito comes in. He's evading pressure. He's making throws in the back of the end zone. Oh, we have players. We have actual guys open downfield. And it gets frustrating. And mind you, Tyrod Taylor played those games with no Andrew Thomas too. So he was under a tremendous amount of pressure, and he still made this offense look better. And this isn't me saying I don't believe that Tyrod Taylor on a full season's basis is better than Daniel Jones, but maybe he is because the offense consistently looked better with Tyrod Taylor than it did with Daniel Jones. And Tyrod Taylor is getting paid. I don't even know the fact that I don't know his cap number in my head shows that he's not getting paid an arm and a leg. So again, why would you wait until year six to say this guy's going to break out when you have a top 5 pick right now, a top 6 pick where you can clearly move up to number 1? You can sit there and take JJ McCarthy. You can sit there and take Michael Penix. You can trade back and try to get one of those guys. You got Cam Ward in the middle of the draft. You got a ton of options to improve the quarterback position. And maybe Shane really does believe in him. But what I've heard from a bunch of sources and people I've talked to that have had sources that are even in the building, what I've heard is Joe Shane did not want to pay Daniel Jones. What I've heard is that he wanted to franchise tag Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones flexed his muscles and called John Mara and got himself paid. So going into this next year, if I'm Joe Shane, I'm getting my guy. We're hearing that he likes Caleb Williams. Go up to number 1 and take Caleb Williams. Do not make this a situation where you wish that you went and got your guy and you're sitting on your couch because you got fired because you hitched your wagon to this guy going into year 6, expecting a different result after 5 years is nuts to me. It's nuts to me. It makes no sense at all. To expect this guy to become a different player after 5 years is crazy. I have some stats here before I close this vid out. I have some stats of Mitch Trubisky, and pretty close record wise. He is 31-26 in his career. He's played more seasons, obviously. Daniel Jones is, what is he? For Daniel Jones, he is 22-36. So similar records. Actually, Trubisky has a better win percentage. He has 72 touchdowns, which in the years where he started, he was at least throwing 16 touchdowns, 17 touchdowns, 24 touchdowns. He's thrown more touchdowns. His yards per game is around the same, 208 yards per game while he was with Chicago, and exactly the same. And the guy is a backup quarterback. He's a backup quarterback. Chicago gave up on him. So why in this situation do we say, oh, we need to improve this. Oh, we need to get him a number 1 wide receiver. Oh, we need to get him an offensive line. Oh, we need to get him a number 2 wide receiver and a number 3 wide receiver and an all-pro tight end and this and this and this. Why can't we just look at what we're seeing on tape and just say, yes, the situation isn't ideal, but also he's not playing as well as he should be playing, especially since we just paid him $40 million US. $40 million US dollars. I hate to count people's money, but it is what it is. You get paid, you got to perform because there's a salary cap, and you cannot go out and sign a wide receiver for 20 something million because you're paying your quarterback 40 million. So you can't always get that number one superstar player when you're paying your quarterback this much. So those are my thoughts on this. I'm hoping that those reports aren't true, but if they are, we will not see Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll after this upcoming year. And the next guy that comes in at GM and the next guy that comes in at head coach will bring in a quarterback that they want. And this story will be over after this upcoming season. But I don't think Joe Schoen is that crazy. There's no way he wouldn't get a quarterback, right? You made it this deep into the video. Come on, just hit the subscribe button. I make Giants content primarily, draft content secondarily, and during the season, I'm going to be doing a lot of reacting to pretty much most of the NFL games and everything NFL. So if you made it this deep, go ahead and join the D6 squad.